Hi, everyone. I'm here today to talk to you about a belief that I see disrupting the emotional and physical health of every single person I work with. And I want to start today by helping you to change that. And then I also want to tell you about a class that I'm going to be teaching that's going to dive really deep into old patterns and causes for this belief so that we can go in at a very deep level and pull out all the roots of this crazy belief that ends up steering us off the track from our healing and from what we want. So, the number one belief, and I'll be interested to see who out there is like, me. The number one belief that I see in my clients that I believe really contributes to all physical and emotional symptoms across the board more than anything else is I'm not good enough. This belief is an old story that so many of us have told ourselves from the time we were little. It doesn't matter if you had parents that taught you the story that you were good enough or parents that taught you the story that you weren't good enough. We all seem to figure out that this has to be the truth for us, even if it doesn't make sense that we have it. And so I want to talk to you a little bit about why it's so important to change this belief. Whether you're trying to manifest a new job or trying to manifest health or healthy relationships or a change in where you live. It doesn't matter what it is. If you believe and are telling yourself the story of I'm not good enough, then deep down what's happening is you believe that you are unworthy of the thing that you're trying to work toward. And when you believe that you're unworthy of the thing that you're trying to work toward, it works against everything you're doing to get there. And a lot of people use affirmations to change beliefs, to change stories. And for me, that never really worked. And it was at some point that I figured out that unless you already sort of believe the affirmation, it can be really hard to sort of get over that hump of really sort of embracing it. So for instance, if you really believe you're not good enough and everything you do, you think, I'm not good enough. I can't do this. I screwed this up because I'm not good enough. Who would want to be with me because I'm not good enough? I can't heal because I can't do things right and I'm not good enough. If you go with that belief and start telling yourself, I am good enough. I am great. I am perfect. What happens in the back of your mind is that your mind sort of goes against that and starts repeating at a subconscious level, no, you're not. You're stupid. You can't do it. It actually sort of reaffirms your belief and not the new positive belief you're trying to embrace, if that makes sense. Now, I know a lot of people who love affirmations, so this may not be true for you, but for me, I saw that affirmations only got me into a deeper hole. But that doesn't mean affirmations are bad. That means that we need to use affirmations in a way that we're in alignment with. So I want to teach you something that you can start right now today. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about what we're going to do in the online video class so that if you feel like you want extra support and guidance in digging really deep and clearing out those old roots of I'm not good enough, you can join us. The first thing that you can do is change the affirmation you're using. If you are already trying to correct this belief, I'm not good enough, by saying I am perfect, or I am all love and light, or I am good enough, and it's not working, what I want you to start doing now every time you catch yourself in the I'm not good enough story is say, I can learn to feel good enough. I can learn to feel good enough. It softens the affirmation into something that is believable, even if you don't believe you're good enough. Does that make sense? So we're sort of tricking the subconscious mind a little bit because what we're doing is we're softening the affirmation into something you can believe. And we can baby step from there. We can work with the affirmation, I can learn to feel good enough. I can learn to feel good enough. And then we can even go a little bit further after a couple of weeks and change the affirmation to maybe I'm better than I think. Maybe I'm better than I think. Maybe I'm becoming good enough. Those are the three that I recommend you sort of move through in terms of levels to try to get yourself closer to the true feeling and the true belief of I am good enough. Because repeating something that you don't really believe or that you're not in alignment with can sometimes backfire, which is what always happened to me with affirmations. So if you start today, every time you find yourself self-critical, beating yourself up, and replace that whatever mental chatter is with I can learn to feel good enough. That will slowly shift the energy and the belief in your body without causing any situation where your body might sort of self-sabotage, or your brain might sort of self-sabotage by going, that's not true. I'm definitely not good enough. I suck. And then you end up accidentally repeating that affirmation. Okay, so everybody has something to start with today. What we're going to do in the class is dive really, really deep. We're going to break down, where does this come from? Where does this I'm not good enough come from? And I'm going to help you figure out in your own life where you got that, so you can understand where it's coming from, and we can actually start to clear that belief in a very gentle way as to not create the situation where we have that subconscious sort of back chatter that's establishing the opposite of what we want, that's ingraining the original belief I'm not good enough. We're also going to work on breaking the habit. If you've taken any of my classes before, you already know that I believe and that I have experienced that a lot of these negative beliefs become habit. And really, I'm not good enough can just become a habitual mantra that even if you've done work on and you feel differently about inside, you can have been saying it for so long that it's still there. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. Every time you almost use it as a fallback or an excuse for every time something doesn't work out, or you're scared of something, or you're disappointed. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. And again, when you're repeating that, what happens is you are not in alignment with all the things that you are trying to get. If at a deep level you don't feel good enough, then what makes you think that your body is going to be in alignment with healing, or a good positive relationship, or the job that you want? At a deep level, I'm not good enough creates a feeling of being undeserving or unworthy. And until you feel like you're deserving and worthy, your body and your cells can't get in alignment with bringing you what you're worthy of. I hope that makes sense. So we're going to be working on the belief I'm not good enough, and also the tentacle beliefs, the beliefs that are around it, that get stuck to it, that also need to be released. An example of this is, I don't deserve good things. I don't deserve good things. If I'm not good enough, I don't deserve good things, right? So sometimes people will clear the I'm not good enough, but not the tentacle beliefs that can kind of be holding it in place. And so we're really going to work on that. We're also going to be releasing stuck emotions from the body that cause us to feel not good enough. And the interesting thing about that is when we have tons of stuck emotions in our body, it changes our behavior. It changes the way we react to the world. And so sometimes we react because of these big stuck emotions in our body in a way that then proves our point that we're not good enough. So for example, if there's something you're trying to do that you want to accomplish, but you have a lot of fear and self-doubt and all of those emotions stuck in your body, so that you never are able to accomplish that thing that you want. It may be just getting on a plane and going on vacation. Maybe you have a fear of flying. It may be talking to a loved one about something that's important to you. But if you have emotions that are stopping you from doing anything, and then you don't do that thing, then we prove the story that you're not good enough. We don't prove it in actuality, but your brain is like, see, I'm not good enough. And then I'm not good enough creates all these emotions that get stuck in your body that then stop you from doing the next thing you want. And so it can really be an obstacle in health, love, life, career, in every aspect of everything. In order to fully heal, to fully move forward and step into your power, you have to feel like you're worth it. And to feel like you're worth it and you deserve it, you have to believe that you're good enough to have the things that the people around you have. Okay? So these are all the things we're going to be digging into during our class. I'm going to be leading you through all of them. You need no previous experience. But what I want you to start with is changing the affirmation that you use today. If you're using an affirmation, change it to, what did I say? There's so many variations of that one. I'm I can learn to feel good enough. You can also do, I'm willing to feel good enough. I'm open to feeling good enough. Any of those. If you're using an affirmation, use that. If you're not currently using affirmations, every time you feel not good enough or you tell yourself that old story, just stop and quietly repeat the new positive story to yourself. Okay? Start today, and I'll see you in class.